Hi guys, how's it going? So in this one, I've got as a vintage kit. It's been a while and I had that itch. So for this, I've got an Airfix Heinkel HE177 Griffin or Greif, I think. The tooling is originally 1983, but this one that we're currently looking at is a new box of 1986. I did a bit of research on the aircraft in real life, and apparently it was an absolute failure, and I had no idea about this aircraft at all. The third rate hated it. It was a killing machine, but in the opposite way around. Basically, the people who were in the aircraft would often get killed because something would go wrong with this thing. Apparently, people were saying that it was could barely take off. I don't think that's a literal sense, but yeah, it wasn't a very popular machine, so it was considered a failure. Now, let's go back to the kit itself. Obviously, with this box, I do actually like the real model on the front there. I always like to work towards it and see if I can copy it. I think this kit only has one scheme, and that's about it really. So what you see is what you get when you're finished, hopefully, but no other options besides what you got. Now on the side, let me just bring it across here. We've got the old school paints of Airfix and Humbro. Copyright of 1986 England hull. And then just a bit there, and on this side, the aircraft again from the side. Let me get that in. And there we go. What's the age on this? Age is 9 and up. You can hear there's some loose bits, so when we come to look at the sprues, I'm going to organise it the best way I can so we can make out what's what. With the first one, we've already got two parts that have come loose or come off the frame. Two wheels, I'm presuming by the line up here. This is about to fall off any minute, so I have to be very careful. This looks to be the bit that goes on before the propeller and spinner. It's so close to coming off, so I've got to be careful. I say that as I'm prodding it back and forth to snap it. We've got plenty of rivets. These bits here are recessed just down there. But listen to this. Well, that's quite cool. There's no real flash at all. Landing gears, turn it over carefully. And there are the connecting points. Moving along, not too much there to look at. The next one, we've got what appear to be armaments, bombs and such. There's no like frame A, frame B or anything like that. They're just all numbered, and you have to go searching through them, I guess. There's no flash on this one. Is there anything missing? Yeah, we have 148 and 147 that have come loose. I hope a loose are not missing again, but from looks in that box, they all seem to be in there, yeah. And then moving along, it's had a hard life. This one, look at all those rivets. This is what I like about vintage kits. Again, another piece that's begging to come off. I'm not even going to try and force that into position because I know it's just going to snap off. I'll probably have to get a clear bag and put them all in one baggie so they don't go missing. But there we are for this one. Anything missing on that one? No. Not sure what they are, but we'll find out when we get to instructions. Connecting points. And then the next. Now this one appears to be the bomber bay. Do we get an option, do you think, to have it open or closed? I wonder. Look at that. They're not smudged. You know when you get that old plastic or the old sprues where they're kind of smudged with age, but not age, but the older tooling is never the best. But this is quite nice. Again, not much flash. Let me get it in for you. We have a little less rivets, but still loads. Actually, plenty on these ones. Bring that in. That's got to be for the nose. This one. I've never understood with these old sprue frames why they had them so vulnerable. They just couldn't just design a little, like they do today, have that little bit extra out there so it's kind of safe from impact. And there we go. No Airfix logo, so if you've been on my channel before, you know that I look for that stuff. Just fascinates me. This one's a bit more interesting. We have the fuselage, the spinner, and the propeller, and then some more bombs and such like that. But look at all that. Look, it's a bit dirty, obviously. Somebody's had it in storage, it's just the way it is. But look at the rivets. That's so cool. I'll run that along for you guys. Again, we've got to clean up a little bit there at the back. Apart from that, we're all good. No logo. Hopefully it all fits nicely and we can make it look pretty. Or pretty. Make it look respectable and nice. We have a little bit of flash there, I'm not just going to pull it off. Yeah, I thought I wanted to be able to get it off then. And then the connecting points for the guys that are interested in this. There's no detail inside the fuselage whatsoever. I don't know if they was capable of that or not. Yes, they was. I think they was. Because I've seen some old Revell kits and they definitely was capable of getting detail. And it was probably just they did this for cheapness. I don't know. The next one. Now these have come off completely. The top part of the wing. Again, look at the detail on that. Should I give it a rivet run? I thought a name, rivet run. No logo. There's really not much to look at that. Actually, let me just give you a better look. Oh, is that a sink? There. It's sunk in there. So I might have to put a bit of filler, but I might not bother. Because I know that some people get bothered by that, but to me, yeah, it really doesn't make me get mad or anything. Any more? What is that? Is that a mark? I don't know what that is. Can't get it in there. I'll try and clean it up. I think it's just, it might be a dent. Again, no, not too bad. The next side, the other side. Quickly run this through because you've just seen it basically. No logo. This might be an easy build. Looks like a big model actually. And then we have these. Now this looks absolutely, I've never seen this look. Who designed this and thought this was a good way to put the tooling? Stop shaking. Look, I mean, I've never seen that. How this, it's a nightmare. Stop. Let me grab it like that. I mean, I've never seen a frame like this. This is definitely unique. Either it's twisted, but I can't imagine Airfix was like, yeah, that we'll do that. But if they did, fair play. It's just very unique. I've never seen it before. Again, rivets throughout. I'm going to be saying that a lot, it appears. Rivet run. Bits for the landing. Well, this is where the landing gears are going to go, obviously. Turn it over. I mean, this is, I guess there's quite a way to keep these all together, this on that. Make it pretty clear. It's hard to not hold them better than bouncing against each other. Again, this one's matte. It might be they're just mangled, but this one, I mean, was this the way it was supposed to be? I don't know, but no, this can't be. It's absolutely mangled. This frame anyway, but it doesn't matter. It's not the important part. There's no real, well, slate flash on the edges. Quick knife, and that'll be done. That'll be off. And you logo under here. No. Yeah. Moving over to the next one because you've just seen that. Now this one is probably the best sprue frame out of the lot. We have pilots, and yes, when it comes to the build, I will put them in. Even though they do make my eyes very tired, because I want to get the best I can out of the pilots. Not that I'm going to, because I don't think they're going to be that detailed. But let's have a look. If I bring that right up, it's the colour of the plastic. I'm struggling with my light. Now I'm going to have to get a knife and cut down the middle. There's flash going right in the middle of them. So I've got to cut that off before I paint them. We've got some on the belly. This will be for the machine guns. And who is this guy? I'll find it. I don't quite know the job, the name of the job he has. What else we got? Spinner. And there's no real flash. Well, I mean, there is on there, but it's nothing that's really too important. And again, let me bring that along on the fuselage. It's clean. I can't see any sink marks. Just on that wing we had. And then we'll turn it over again for connecting points. And there we go. Now let me go in there and I'll show you the loose bits. We have plenty. Look at this. This is what was rattling so badly. Absolute carnage in this kit. But it's all there. I'm pretty sure of it. So we can go ahead. Here's a seat actually. The clear parts on this kit do look like dried PVA glue, unfortunately. I'll bring this one up and you see what I mean. We have loads of scratch marks, but we've seen other vintage kits and this is pretty normal for me. I'll still use them. I use everything in the kit. I just like doing that. I don't mind a kit that likes to test me because the way I see it is part of it. I've never understood why people, I guess you like easy kits for less stress, but I think part of modelling is fighting the kit to make it the way you want it. Let me get the micro set. We'll have a quick glance through. That's not bad. There's no point really going, and there you go, really. That was the only one really worth testing on this one. We have some flash on this bit. 2 seconds that'll come off. Is it any? This is not too bad. I think this is definitely good to use. I can ignore these scratch marks. They don't bother me. I mean, they're going to be easy to tape up. They're quite deep windows, like the frame is. So masking that up's not going to be a problem. It's worse when they're completely flat and it's like, how am I going to mask this up without them moving or trying to get them in place? But this way I can kind of cut them to size, I guess. So not so bad. This is the worst one out of the lot. This half dome looking thing. Look at that. It's had a very hard life. Clean up the flash around here. I guess the gun will go straight down there. But as a whole, for the clears, very, very, very hard life. Micro set. You wouldn't be able to make anything anyway because of the way it is. A dome shape is going to make it very, like the clarity not too good anyway, but this is severely, no, that's a lie. Today's kits you can, but it is what it is for its time. We have some yellow in it. Does look like a treasure map. Well, one half does, because the way it's sat over the years, this has took the brunt of all the dirt and grime, because open it up and then it's white, completely fine. 20 years, 30 years ago, 10 years ago. Let me just bring that up because I know some of you guys like to read the history of the aircraft. I'll hold it there for 2 seconds and then I'll bring it down again to finish it up. And then right down the bottom, we've got the symbols we're going to need to remember, but I'm pretty sure most of you guys already know this, 99.9% of you. Now let's open it up. It's a leaflet style, and oh my God, they can open up leaflet. Look at the chaos I'm witnessing right now. I mean, section 1, it looks like it explains about 20% of the build alone, but there's a lot going on just in this bit. Look at these arrows. Look at that. I guess it's to make it as basic as possible for the kids at the time, because whether we like it or not, it was aimed at kids back then, especially. But there's a lot going on here. We've got this bit, which I guess right would go into the front. Some gunners. No, not yet. Yeah, up here we've got some guns going in. The rudder going. the pilot. We don't have an instrument panel, so I guess we've just got the basic control stick. And then part 2, or step 2, whatever you want to call it. The pilots are going in. Look, they're on their belly. Oh, this is what he's for. What is he doing? Why is he ducking? Is he? I don't know. Somebody will explain what his job is. Pilots again. Clear parts are going in. Is there any clear parts that go in this part? No. Just seem to point it out on this one. But is there any clear? I'm sure there is. And then step 3. I can't make my mind up if it's part 3 or step 3. Bear with me. The nose goes on. I hope these all fit well. Let me bring that in. That's not quite in properly. I hope these fit well. Because my only worry is if that goes in and then that doesn't fit flush with the rest. Hopefully the tooling's okay and it'll work. Or I'll be using plenty of filler. But then it doesn't really work with filler on clear parts because you can't really hide. Yeah, you could hide it. As long as you mask up the windows and we'll airbrush it over, make part of the frame. Step 4. We've got the top part and the bottom part of the wings going on, the flaps, control flaps and such. Not much going on here, but I just find it fascinating with the arrows. Like they literally have told you with the arrow, put this here. They've got their finger and they've pointed right at it, and they've pointed to the other section with their finger as well. So you cannot make a mistake. But I think you still could if you didn't pay attention. I mean, I probably could, let's be honest. Step 5. Now the construction, we're starting to see the plane. So it's all going to come together here. The wings are going on, propeller, the spinner's going. We've got to make sure we glue that just down there. And then moving over, I'll move there to this page. Step 6, our armaments and such are going there. Look at this over here, more going on. And then step 8, we finish up. But you see what I mean? Look at just a glimpse, just to have a glimpse at it. The chaos. That looks insane. If you imagine if this was your first kit as a child, and you go, "Good luck, good luck, have fun." But I guess that's the fun of it. And then at the back, we've got more. Okay, so we've got the doors going on now. There must be an option happening there. More bombs. This is quite a cool image on its own. If you take away it's instructing you what to do, I mean, just as an artistic picture, I quite like that. I'll be honest on that one. More arrows, just to make sure you don't mess up. And then, oh, here we go. Our one scheme. We have one scheme in total. It's a shame they couldn't chuck another one in, but yeah. This is the only bit that's going to annoy me is these bits at the side, doing the airbrushing on that. I will airbrush it, just my preferred way of doing it. But there were kids who would obviously paintbrush this. And yeah, this is why some of you guys now who've been paintbrushing since kids, doing stuff like this, are so good now because you've been doing it for so long, well practiced at it. And the paints you're going to need, hit that pause button. And there you go. You see, you don't need many paints for this at all. And that is the instructions. They are grubby on first sight, but you guys know I'm going to use them. You've heard me say this 1,000 times, but I will just explain for people who are new. What I will do is I'll put these in the window for about a week to let the yellowing come out. And then I'll give them a clear coat of gloss, let that harden for about 2 days and try and use them. If they are unusable, I'll go to a third party and try to, like a third party decal maker, and try and get some, because they're not exactly the most unique versions to get. I mean, these are common, these you can get, these are all easy to find if they're unusable. If I do use them though, I will have to exact knife and cut right up against the symbols, because I'm not going to use them as they are, especially with the risk of silvering. I don't want that. And these are more than likely going to do that. So I'm going to have to really pay extra attention and try my best to salvage them, if that's even possible. Let's be honest. Before we go though, because I was talking about paints on the instructions, We've got this. I do like these. This is just a nice little touch. You could just pin it up on your wall. I don't know, and you know what paints you need at that time. But I've always said you could kind of, maybe that's what the whole purpose was. When you bought the kit, you open the box, and then you could give this to the shop that you bought that kit at that exact point and go, could you find these paints for me, please? And then I guess the shopkeeper who owns that model shop will go and find the paints for you. That's just a thought. Maybe that's what they did with them. I mean, but this is a nice touch. I like these little things. Anything like, I see it as modelling history, so I always kind of fanboy over it. And then we have this very dirty sheet that goes there. Nothing really interesting on that. And that is the kit. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.